How we doing, everybody? What's up, Jamal? How's everyone doing? Hopefully, everyone's staying safe. Hopefully, everyone's excited if you are about getting back outside, I guess. So we will see. We will see how it goes. Okay. How we doing? How we doing, everybody? What's up, Brian? We're talking about skincare today. So all about skincare. So I had to put the hat on, get this skin out here, show my nice tan because I've been working out outside. So that's been good. How you doing? How's everyone doing? Hopefully everyone's staying safe. Dupree, good to see all my DC people in here. How's everyone doing? I know I saw Ian in here somewhere. He was one of these ones scrolling. So we'll be talking about skincare today with Ian Edwards, as you can see, from 6'4 Luxury. I call it 6'4 Luxury because that's how I see it. So Ian will clear all that up because I think it's just 6'4, but yeah. As I see, thank you. Everyone on the East Coast, or not everyone, you guys are slowly working your way back in. This past weekend, they allowed barbershops and salons to open up out here in Vegas. I have not partaken yet. I don't think my barber's open. I will not be going. I'm going to give it at least another month or so and see what these numbers really do. And then until then we'll go from there. So, you know, just keep in mind whatever policies you do follow. I'm not here to push any type of rhetoric on anybody, but whatever policies you do follow, just follow that. You go outside, you know, wear a mask, be safe. Because now there's going to be a lot more people outside. So things that you haven't breathed in before, if you have been going outside, going to the grocery store, just keep that in mind when you head out there. I know Ian was in here. He's just got a request to be in. All right, let me get him in here. Just waiting for Ian. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, getting those workouts in. All right.
There we go.
There we go.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good. I'm good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Can you? So I think that there might not be enough light in here. Let me see.
Take your time. We got a minute or so. Give some
Y'all,
time.
y'all
People
have
to.
to excuse the background. There we go.
No, that's your background. That's what we're used to.
Let there be light.
Right.
The table, because it's kind of crazy. So let me go grab my phone really quickly.
Okay. Grab your phone.
Just cause.
So as you can see today, we'll be talking skincare, all about skincare today. So it's a different kind of fitness. So if you came to Focus TV looking for something fitness-wise, this is a different kind of fitness. So don't forget, I look at fitness as an overall wellness idea, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it may be. And skin is a big aspect, what I believe to be a part of that physical aspect, especially people who work out a lot. No matter what you're doing, you tend to sweat. I'm a sweater. No matter what, I could be sitting still and I could be sweating. I don't know what it is. I'm a larger guy, but I don't just sweat like that. But yeah, so I just sweat. So we're going to be talking all about that. Ian's getting it set up together, which is fine. Oh, you had to put the candle. This isn't the Erica Badu, Jill Scott versus. You don't have the candles and everything.
Yeah, we got some nice candles from
Okay.
there. So I'm trying to plug a bunch of people while I'm also plugging myself as well.
Okay.
I
That's
have
fair.
people who have been, supportive and kind, and also just even just some businesses that I believe in. So,
Okay.
yeah, these are the J Squared candles. I'm not sure.
J Square. I saw you post that
Yeah, so
before.
this was so I did a live the other day with King Finity, a couple King Finity, and I'm actually wearing their hoodie right now, Cakes Connoisseur. So what does it
Okay.
say? Bake, eat, and repeat. So I don't know if there's maybe like some double entendre kind of stuff going on there. I don't know. But yeah, but fun times though. Fun times. How are you?
So you got all the brands today, huh?
I have all the brands today. All the brands today. So I'm just
All
updating
right.
to let everybody know that I'm live.
Awesome.
So I have a quick question. So when I
Yes.
request your video, how does that work? Does that also connect to my live as well, or
Yeah,
to my
so it'll tell your followers that you're live now as well.
dope? Okay.
Yeah. So it'll tell your follow just on Instagram though.
Okay.
So even though Instagram and Facebook owns Instagram, one of those, for some
Hmm.
reason we can't multicast yet. So I need them to get that together in the next phase of whatever they decide to do. So if we could multicast, simulcast. I don't know. I said multicast, like multi task, but
That's
yeah,
fine. The people know what you mean.
yeah. So
So I'm just updating. I'm just letting them know that yeah. So there we go. So we're live.
okay. We are live in person. Like I said, we got Ian Edwards here. Ian's based out of DC, correct?
I am. I am.
Okay, so DC, and it's not 6'4" luxury. It's just 6'4", correct?
It's just 6'4". Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. The website is 6'4" luxury. When I was
Okay,
yeah, when I needed a domain name really quickly, and I couldn't think of anything, and I was like, okay, what do I want to call it? Because 6'4" was taken. I was like, okay, maybe 6'4" luxury might work. So I think that people have sort of associated the website with the name, but the name of the brand itself is 6'4" though.
okay. No, I've always thought 6'4" luxury, just because of all the things provided. But we'll get to that in a second. I just wanted to say or ask, so how did you get into this business, and why specifically skincare?
So I got into skincare kind of I've always sort of been into skincare. I've always tried at least to take care of my skin. Especially being a dark skinned guy when I was younger. My black viewers, my people of color will know that, in the black community, there's some colorism issues and stuff like that. Not to get all deep, but when I was little, I get teased, for being dark, and I didn't want to be the dark skin, like dry, person, or the dark skin sort of, like really greasy person. So but I need to figure this out really quickly. I had a little bit of acne, and then when I started shaving,
Okay,
because I grew in facial hair really early. When I started shaving, I had a lot of like razor bumps and razor issues and stuff like that. So I joined the military. When I got out of the military, my last tour was in Afghanistan, and when I came back, just having to shave out in the field and not really
yeah,
having the right things that I needed, my skin was kind of messed up. So I started spending a lot of money just on a lot of different products and different things like that. And I was like, you know what? I think I can do a better job. I had studied chemistry in school. I don't have my degree in chemistry.
okay,
Studied chemistry though, so I have a little bit of background in it. And I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and figure out what I can put together. And so that's how the line kind of started.
gotcha.
I think as it does with most people, just kind of, personal intent, kind of trying to fix yourself.
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say. I mean, you kind of stated it. So skincare was a bit of an issue for you growing up.
mhm. Yeah,
Okay,
it wasn't horrible. I've never had,
right.
horrible skin, thank God. But it was just something I was interested in. I've always been very handsy. I've always made different things.
Okay,
Never skincare when I was younger. But just anything I could really get my hands on and kind of deconstructing things, breaking things down, trying to figure out how they work. And so when I started getting into skincare, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder, how they make this or what this is. And I
Right.
was also really digging into fragrance as well. And so I wanted to, I started off trying to teach myself how to make perfume and fragrances and things like that. And then one thing kind of rolled into another, and another thing kind of rolled back into that. And so, you know,
Okay.
hey, so.
Cool. Now, tell people who haven't had the 6'4" experience yet, or they will when outside opens back up, but kind of what services you do provide.
So 6'4", the brand is sort of consists of two parts. There's the services side. I'm a licensed master esthetician. So I do skincare. I'm a skincare professional. I do chemical peels. I do traditional or classic spa facials, advanced treatments, microdermabrasion, dermaplaning, extractions, different things like that. And then we have the product side, which is what a lot of people are familiar with. These are the products that I've just come out with. My cleansers, my scrubs, the moisturizers, serums, toners, and different things like that. So so 6'4", again, like I said, it's a two faceted, at the moment at least, two faceted sort of entity, I guess, if you will.
Right. Okay. Cool. Now, getting deep into it because I'm still learning. Now,
Mm-hmm.
is it common or actually rather necessary to do a daily face wash? And then, if so, what is a good actual daily routine?
I think that washing your face, generally speaking, daily is a good practice.
Okay.
I think the problem comes in for a lot of people with what they used to wash their face with. I think
Okay.
I get a lot of clients who come to see me, and I also just hear just through the internet. People sometimes using what I would consider to be maybe not the most beneficial, or even in some cases the wrong products. But I do think that that developing and maintaining a habit of washing your face daily is a good practice. It's similar to washing the body, and the reason for that, the reason that's important, is because our body excretes waste in a variety of ways. So when of course, we eat, and then we go to the restroom. Not to be vulgar, but when we sweat as well, that's an excretion of waste, and so our facial skin tends to function a little bit differently than the skin on our body. There are a lot more nerve endings, and of course the musculature is different as well because it's our face. It's much more expressive. It has a lot more different functions as well, and so because it does have uh, there's so much fine musculature under the skin, that means that it functions differently than the skin around the rest of the body. And so it has its own sort of waste that it produces. That's what the sebum is. That's what the dead skin cells are, and different things like that. So my philosophy regarding proper skincare, at least as it relates to the face, is to, again, like I said, develop a regimen that you follow through with daily, the same way as you would when you get in the shower.
Okay. Now, someone had asked, and I asked you this prior to our conversation here.
Mm-hmm.
People were wondering, what does 6'4" stand for? Or what is it? What is it for?
Yeah, absolutely. So 6'4" is my birthday. So I'll be I have a birthday coming up here very soon.
Not yet. It's Gemini's can wait. It's not yet.
Okay, I know it's Taurus season, so we don't want to
It
say that.
is.
You
It
know, so for me, much love to all of the zodiac signs. I don't really think,
is.
I think they're all necessary. But yeah, but 6'4" is my birthday, and for me, it represents balance. I'm a Gemini, and I don't put too much stock into it, but I think in terms of the story of what Gemini means and represents, for me, it was really special. I think a lot of people, sometimes when a lot of people hear the word Gemini, the first thing they say is, "Oh, you're two-faced or you're phony or whatever." I think that that's
Right.
something that's just kind of metastasized over time. An idea
Mhm.
that's just kind of run rampant. But originally, though, the Gemini are the twins, and they're supposed to represent a sense of balance. They kind of balance one another out. So, kind of similar to the concept of yin and yang. Not exactly, but there's some parallels there, though, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. To get back to talking about the daily face wash, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to preface this by saying I have never done this in my life, no
Okay.
matter how I grew up or anything, but
Never
because I
done
know
what?
there, so I know people have come to you because I've seen you post about it before too, is when people wash their face with a bar of soap.
Okay.
Why is that? If the bar of soap is telling me that it like refreshes the skin and it adds moisture to it. Why is that a bad thing?
So as it relates to facial skin, I think that soap on the body, obviously we've been using soap since humans first discovered what soap was. I think soap was sort of accidentally discovered in some sort of ancient Roman sort of city or something like that. The original saponification process was soap is made from lye and
Wow,
certain other things.
that was
But
a good word.
saponification.
Yeah.
But as it relates to facial skin, especially in a modern day context, most bar soaps traditionally, because of the saponification process, because of the process by which they're made into soaps, the alkaline level tends to be really high. So it changes the pH, the pH level.
Oh,
And our
okay.
skin is normally most people's skin, the average person's skin, tends to be a little bit acidic, and so our skin is usually about 5.5 on the pH scale, which is semi-acidic. 7 is neutral, and then the higher that you go, the more alkaline sort of things become. And I guess now, it's become sort of faddish for people to kind of chase these alkaline diets. As far as how alkaline diets affect the body internally, I can't really speak to that because I'm not a doctor and I don't want to really provide any misinformation. But I know that from a topical perspective, at least specifically as it relates to our face, we don't want to really alter the pH level that drastically. And a lot of soaps, especially bar soaps, tend to be about 8 or 9 on the pH scale. And then when you start to
Okay.
get into, which is very alkaline, mind you, and when you change the pH level of the skin, it tends to dry out, it tends to dehydrate. And so that leads to a sort of cascade of other problems. Hyperpigmentation, which is the dark spots that people are always trying to get rid of, that a lot of people tend to try to get rid of.
Hmm.
Fine lines and wrinkles. If you think of your skin sort of like a sponge, when you use a sponge repeatedly, you wet the sponge, you wring it out, you wet it, you wring it out. As it dries, the sponge tends to become warped and it cracks, and it
Hmm.
also it warps and it cracks. Our skin is alive, unlike most sponges that we use in the kitchen or in the bathroom. So it doesn't function exactly the same way, but you can, again, there are some parallels there. And if you can kind of compare your skin to a sponge, just think about dehydrating dehydrating your skin the way that a sponge dries out. It starts to lose its shape over time. And so when you tend to dehydrate the skin too much, especially as we age and our skin doesn't, the cells don't sort of replicate or rebuild or repair themselves as
Hmm.
quickly as they do when we're younger. That's when we start to again notice that sort of cascade of problems. Again, with the hyperpigmentation,
Okay.
the fine lines and wrinkles, something that we call skin laxity as well is really big. That's where you begin to lose the elasticity in the skin. And so that's when we start to notice sagging. We start to notice pulling of the skin. The jowls start to kind of sag because the skin has now started to break down both the collagen and the elastin in the skin, both of which are crucial for helping to maintain that sort of bounce and the plumpness of the skin.
Now that's good
I
because
hope,
it made me
did that
think.
make sense?
It did. No, no, it was actually really, really good, and it made me think of a question actually because in that sense, when do genetics take over or become a part of what happens to your skin?
Right. Excellent question. So I think that genetics have their sort of genetics are going to play a role regardless. We can't fight the aging process. We can't fight our genes. As far as sort of microbiology or microscience or is concerned right now, we don't have the ability to, at least not large scale, to affect our genes and how they split and grow and how they age,
Hmm.
break down. So that's when the skincare side sort of comes in because uh, our body is made up of cells. Our
Right.
skin is made up of cells, and our cells derive their energy and their nutrients from the things that we eat. As it relates to the skin, in particular, pardon me, our skin is really one of the only organs that we can somewhat nourished both internally through obviously our food supply, but also externally, topically, and that's with the products that we use. So I think my approach to skincare and my personal skincare philosophy is a really sort of healthy balance between, you know, making sure that you nourish your body properly internally, but also making sure that you use products that are, one, appropriate for your particular skin type, and then products that are high quality, that are made well, and are going to nourish the epidermis, and to some extent the dermis as well, which is under the epidermis, in a healthy, sort of controlled fashion, if you will.
Right. Okay. Now we talked about a daily, wash routine. I think there's a misconception, or I've even heard before too, that there's such a thing as washing your face too much,
Yes.
because the oils that are on your skin, there are oils on your skin that are needed. So can you explain that a little bit? Because I know I've heard that before. What would you consider washing too much or going overboard?
So I think that, and again, this is going to go back to a combination. Like I said, I think I mentioned it before. If I didn't, I want to make sure that I'm really intentional about mentioning it now. It's going to be a combination of both technique and product.
Okay.
I think that a lot of times when it comes to overwashing the face, it's usually not really so. For most people, it's not going to be because they've washed it too many times. It's usually because they've washed it with the wrong thing or used something that's inappropriate or incompatible with their particular skin.
Okay.
And going back to the black soap issue, a lot of people tend to sort of default to, especially people of color, we tend to default to black soap because we think that that's what the skin sort of needs. And I also hear a lot of pushback from, from clients sometimes, or even when I'm just sort of giving just sort of a la carte, sort of advice to people. I hear, oh, well, it's worked for me. Or, I think that there are people who, a lot of things will work for them, or a lot of things will maybe seem to work for them, but we have to sort of assess what the potential long-term damage to the skin is going to be.
Okay.
So to answer the question more directly, again, if you're using products that are really incompatible with the skin, products that are going to be dehydrating or drying to the skin, again, going back to what we talked about before, you're going to start to notice over time that the skin doesn't look as supple, it doesn't look as rich, it doesn't look as hydrated, it doesn't look as moist. It's going to start to take on a gray cast to it. Speaking of gray, I don't know if this light is kind of making me look gray or not. You look so, your tone looks so rich. I feel like I look gray in this light right here.
No, you don't look gray. Someone said you had great skin. You're
Okay.
fine. First of all, I had to make sure that I was ready to look ready to talk to the skin guy. I didn't want to come out here looking a mess. So
No, you look amazing. And I'm not like that. I'm not one of those estheticians that's like, oh my God, I think sometimes, and I have so much respect for my fellow estheticians, both my traditional estheticians and the master estheticians, and obviously, of course, dermatologists as well. But I'm not one of those estheticians that is sort of fatalistic in my approach. Like, oh my God, you can't use this. It's gonna ruin you.
right.
What I will say is I think that, and I know I didn't answer the question directly, so I'm going to go back to it really quickly, but I want to say this. I think that it's important that I let my clients know, and also people who follow me, people who come to me for advice, that if you don't do these things that I suggest, they're not going to kill you. It's not going to be the death of you. Your skin is not going to melt off or anything like that. But I think it's important to make note of the fact that if you want to achieve a really particular look for your skin, that glow that most people are after, then there are going to be certain steps that you want to follow, and certain products that I think will be a little bit more beneficial to you in terms of you achieving, that particular goal. But to go back really quickly, if I may, I'm not sure how much
Yeah,
time.
sure.
But
No, you're fine.
Okay, good. But to go back to the issue of overwashing the face, I think 2 times a day is probably good. I think, I don't think you need to really wash more than that, except in extreme circumstances where some people are hyper sebaceous or hyper oily. Sebaceous meaning the oil glands in the skin. Some people are just very, very oily. And so I think in that case, they might need to wash a little bit more often. But even with that, and even considering that, I think that there are certain products that if you use them and you use them properly, and you use them with regularity, then you can sort of mitigate some of the excess oil that the skin, tends to produce. And so you can cut down on the need to have to wash the face so much.
Okay.
But again, I think that that product is really important because again, a lot of people, in my opinion, tend to use the wrong products for their skin or something that's not necessarily compatible with their skin. And that's really what tends to contribute to the over drying of the skin, the dehydration of the skin. And that's why sometimes people think that they've washed their face too much. I definitely think that a minimum of at least once a day is good for most people, but 2 times a day, if you can do it, I think is really good. But beyond that, I don't think that you need to really wash more than twice a day.
Okay. Now, we had talked about jeans earlier, and it kind of made me think of something else as well, because we talked about it in a almost not a negative light, but how about, can you speak to it being something that's positive? So not prime example, but just a personal example. I've been lucky enough, or blessed enough, to not have to deal with a lot, especially growing up. Not a lot of acne. I might have one pimple a month, and it always shows up in the same spot, so I know where it's coming from. But other than that, what you see is what you. Yes, I wash my face and do that, but it's kind of one of those things, and I've always attributed to having, good genes per se. Can that be possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's important before I go on. I think it's important to let people know that no one has what we call perfect skin. Even myself. If you guys go to my Instagram page, I want to say maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I posted a slideshow of photos of me looking absolutely horrible, mind you. I didn't. But someone had messaged me and they wanted to come, or they were thinking about maybe coming to see me because they had seen some of my clients that I posted on my page, but they were like, you must just have good skin. And I hear that a lot. I think people tend to take for granted that I have good skin, whatever that means. I appreciate it, but I'm a human being. And biology it affects everybody. So no matter how good it is that we may perceive someone else's skin to be, everyone has their own sort of respective skin issues. Again, even within the sort of structure of what we consider to be good skin. I think that, and let me be clear, I don't want to say that like our genes are a bad thing, because our genes are good.
Right.
Our genes are the makeup of who we are. But I think that biology it's a real thing, and biology affects us, So I think that when we start to look at our skin as a part of our body, because it is, as opposed to treating it like an afterthought, which so many people tend to do, which I find to be very unfortunate. I think when we start to respect the skin as a very integral part of our body, I think that sort of changes the way that we begin to take care of it, or the way that we begin to care for it. It's just like going to the gym. Some people are really fanatic about going to the gym and really putting those workouts in, and that's important. But your skin is just as important. Our skin is the largest organ in our body, and it serves as a barrier, both to sort of external things that are trying to get in, as well as keeping the internal things inside. So our genes are what they are. We can't change the genes. There's nothing wrong with the genes. The genes are good. Some people just have different skin. Everybody has a different skin type. And then some people have different skin conditions associated with their particular skin type. But the genes are fine. Some people tend to hit what we call the gene jackpot, I guess, if you will. And so they appear to have better skin, or they appear to have this, or whatever. But even for people who feel like they haven't necessarily hit the gene jackpot, that's why people like myself and other estheticians exist, so that we can help you. Sort of adjust and maneuver around the things that maybe you feel like you weren't necessarily blessed with, so to speak.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
It did. No, it really did. And it's true, because I think sometimes we get caught up in the fact of saying, oh yeah, I have really good genes, so my skin's going to be good. Or I have really bad genes. Like, oh, I look at my parents and they had really bad skin, so
Mhm.
I in turn am gonna have really bad skin. So it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
If you want to change something, just like going to the gym, if you want to change your body, you go to the gym. So there are ways of being able to change it and to fix it. And Jesse actually had a really good question because, and
Yeah,
it's funny that he,
I can't see the questions, by the way.
you're fine. Oh no, you're fine. I got them and then I
Okay.
got mine. But it's a good question because I always think about it when I go to the barber shop
Mm.
and they put a hot towel on my face, or even when I'm here at home washing my face. So his question was, how important is water temperature to your face or to that process of washing your face?
I think generally speaking, not super important, but
Okay.
there's a caveat to that though. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to wash your face with the intention of cleaning your face, then I think that warmer water would be better because, as we know, there's certain oils, just like and I literally shared this analogy with someone earlier. It's just like washing dishes. If you try to wash dishes with cold water, you're gonna find that you have a lot more oil residue left over on the dishes, just because oil tends to solidify in cooler temperatures, or it tends to be a
That's a
little.
good analogy.
But the warmer that your water is, especially when you're washing dishes, if you're washing dishes, you're going to use hot water to help dissolve some of that oil and that grease, along with your soap or your cleanser or whatever. So when it comes to your face, when it comes to washing your face, if at the end of the day you feel like you've been particularly oily throughout the day, then you will want to wash your face maybe with a little bit of warmer water, but you don't want to go too hot. You don't. That's for the body or for the face. You don't want it to be scalding. You don't want the water to be scorching, because it's not going to be beneficial for you at that point.
Okay.
And by that same measure, I would also maybe steer, especially if you're someone who finds yourself to be a little bit oily. I would steer away from maybe like excessively cold water. Anything sort of cooler than maybe like lukewarm or room temperature sort of water. I would kind of, if you're oily, I would say, okay, maybe warm the temperature up just a little bit more because it will help to dissolve some of that sebum that's present that you're trying to get rid of.
Okay. Awesome. That's good to know. So with our face wash now, so I've got it down. I'm daily, maybe you said twice a day because my question was gonna be, is it better or is there a preference to washing it in the morning or washing it at night or at both?
Both, if you can, if you're the type of person who doesn't mind and wants to have a more comprehensive regimen, or if you're kind of just getting started out and you're trying to really achieve sort of specific goals, with your skin.
Mhm.
Uh, Again, getting that glow, then I think washing your face, twice would be a good practice. But generally speaking, if it's just for general maintenance, I think that once a day is fairly sufficient. Having said that, though, I would say, probably, again, with a caveat.
Right.
I would most of the things that I say are caveated, because I don't want to. I try to not paint sort of broad strokes, about it because there are
Right.
exceptions to every rule. But I would say, generally speaking, maybe probably focus on washing your face later in the day or at night. And the reason for that is because we get so many environmental things that land on our face. We speak to people, and people. A lot of people do it. People sometimes spit inadvertently while they're speaking, and it might just be little small, sort of minuscule flecks, but these things accumulate throughout the day. Smog, just the normal oil that your skin produces, sebum, just old skin, or just dead skin cells, because the skin does shed throughout the day. So all of these different things, if you're using lotion on your face or you're using a sunscreen, which everyone should be using, including people of color, all of these things are product that you're adding to the face, and so the likelihood that they're going to either settle into the pores, or cause, just sort of just normal buildup, is higher at the end of the day than it tends to be when you wake up in the morning. For women, I think, or for anyone who wears makeup, women or men, all of our LGBTQ, brothers and sisters, whoever wears makeup.
Right.
I think in the morning, if you're gonna wear makeup, I think that a good practice would be to wash your face as a prep before you apply your makeup. But if you're not wearing makeup and it's not a big deal, you're just trying to get out the door, is it necessary to wash your face? I would recommend it, but it's not necessary though. I think that the most important time will probably be at night because, again. You don't want to lay down on your pillow with all of this buildup on your face. And then you repeat that same process day in and day out.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So how long should it really take me to do a nice wash of my face?
Maybe
Does it
30.
just again matter like what I'm trying to do?
Yeah, I think to answer that question very specifically, I think it's more related to what it is that you're trying to achieve. If it's just a normal wash
Okay.
and go, like it's in the morning and you're trying to get out the door, or if you want a more pared down sort of regimen, you're not really a skin person. Pardon me. I think that uh 15-20 second wash is sufficient for most people. If you're
Okay.
trying to deep cleanse, if you're trying to deep clean, then I would say at least, about 45 to 60 seconds. And the addendum to that is that I think that washing your face twice is more beneficial than washing it one time with a lot of product. So wash it twice with a little bit of product each time is better than washing it once with just a bunch of product in your hand.
Okay. Now, someone who works out a lot, or even just sweats a lot, how do I keep how do I keep my skin looking fresh? Because, so the problem I will tend to have is, okay, I can wash my face in the morning. So,
Mhm.
especially if I'm doing 2 days. So I'm going to work out in the morning, I'm going to work out at night.
Okay.
Um, I wash my face in the morning, go to the gym. Now I'm sweating, and now my face might look a little bit oilier.
Mhm.
Are there things I can do in between a wash where I'm not looking so, you know, wet or oily or just kind of all the time because it's a constant?
Right. So I think if you're working out, especially if you have a regimen that consists of you going to the gym in the morning and in the evening, I would say skip your face wash when you first. It's not imperative to wash your face when you first get up if you're going to go to the gym because you are going to sweat.
Right.
I would say maybe wash your face after your workout because so I will say I think that sweating aids aids in the sort of cleansing process. That's a way that your body is
Oh,
getting
okay.
waste. The problem with some people, though, is that they tend to let the sweat sit on the skin, and then it sort of reabsorbs, and so now you've got this sort of saline sort of sweat that has, kind of sweated out. In addition to, maybe whatever product it is that you have in your hair that's now running down, all these different things. And so now it's just sitting on the skin. Most people don't cleanse their face after they work out, or so I don't want to say most people, it's not quantifiable, but some people might not do that after they work out. And now you've got this sweat that has just sort of sat there and now reabsorbed into the skin. So if you're going to work out, then maybe reserve your face washing for after your workout. If you're hell bent on washing your face before you work out, that's totally
Mm,
fine too. Some people have their routine. I would say that after you work out, however, at least rinse your face, do like a quick rinse with some warm water, and then reapply your moisturizer and hopefully your
okay.
sun afterwards. So it doesn't need to be a laborious process. It's not. I think a lot of times people get scared of skincare when they hear skincare regimen or skincare routine, thinking it's going to be some 27-step process. It doesn't have to be that. And I tell my clients that all the time. We can go as extravagant as you like to go, as you want to go, but we can also be as sort of simple and as basic, as you like, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
And same,
Now,
same,
okay.
same with. No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say same with your evening workout as well. Just follow suit.
Okay. Well, on those lines, because being an athlete at heart, a lot of it is when I do sweat in the gym.
Mhm.
It's a lot of like, especially if I'm wearing a hoodie. Yes. How detrimental is that? Because I feel like for me, a normal person who doesn't, not normal, like, but for me, what I think is now I've wiped the sweat off and I'm good. But then when I go to wipe again, I'm kind of reapplying whatever oils or whatnot I just wiped off back onto my skin. Is that such a thing or?
Mm, it's honest. It's okay. So the thing about our skin is tough. Our skin is resilient. It can take a lot. I think that we have to be careful about making sure that we don't do things that are just like objectively bad for the skin. Again,
Right.
like using certain products that just aren't useful. But in terms of like the little things that we do, like, you know, rubbing the face and stuff like that, as an esthetician, do I recommend that? No, I don't.
Right.
But I also realize that it's a part of being human. We touch our face sometimes throughout the day, and so that's totally fine. I would say again, as long as you stick to just making sure that you do a clean rinse of your face after your workout, I don't really think that, you know, wiping it, you know, with your sleeve or then wiping it again is a huge consideration.
Okay. Now you had mentioned earlier about the foods that we put into our body, and obviously, not being a nutritionist or a dietitian or anything like that, but how important is nutrition to your skin?
Mm-hmm.
And then what foods are good to actually ingest to help your skin or even put on your skin? That's a real loaded question. So,
Yeah. No,
is it,
that's totally fine. So I think that, um, again, me not being a nutritionist or dietitian, I would be really hesitant to say, okay, eat this, not that, or eat these
right?
things. But I would say, generally speaking, just maintaining a healthy diet, making
Okay.
sure that you consume water regularly, whatever the FDA sort of recommended amounts of, you know, water are. I think old school wisdom, it was 8 glasses a day. Is that realistic for everybody? Maybe not necessarily in
Right.
today's world. You know, we're really fast paced. A lot of people don't remember to drink water. That's totally fine. It's not fine, but I mean, but it happens though. But I would say, you know,
Will water help though?
so yes and no. Water,
Okay.
so water taken internally will not directly hydrate your skin. However, if you
Okay.
find that your body is dehydrated, then it will definitely show on your skin. So drinking a glass of water,
Oh
the
wow.
water isn't just going to go to your skin and just make it plump up. There's no direct path from the mouth to the esophagus to, you know, through the digestive tract, you know, the stomach, and just into the skin. So, and I want to talk about that as well too, because I
Yeah.
hear a lot of times people say, "Oh, I ate sugar, or I had chocolate, or I had,
Or oily foods.
you know, oily foods, and I broke out." The pathway to skin, or the connection between our foods, what we eat, and our skin sort of health is not direct like that. Like, you know, generally speaking, you're not going to eat a piece of chocolate and boom, you know, you break out. Um,
Okay.
does That's not to say that some people don't maybe have some sensitivities to certain things that, from an overall perspective, can't affect the skin, because that's a very real possibility. But the sort of direct connection between eating something and then boom, you know, just breaking out like that, you know, it's a little dubious, you know, around
Okay.
that. But back to the original question about the water. Water is going back to what I said before at the very beginning of our conversation. Our body is made up of cells, and every single internal organ that you have is comprised of a bunch of cells. And our skin is comprised of cells. Even the dry parts of our body, like the bones, are made of cells. And our cells need water to function. So in order for them to sort of function properly, they need to be sufficiently hydrated, and we receive that hydration internally. So when we drink enough water, it allows our body to process and function the way that it, you know, in a very smooth sort of way, the way that it's supposed to. When we deny our body water, you know, we have to try and find moisture or hydration from other things, either things that we eat, or, you know, just, you know, our body just, it leaches, you know, what it doesn't get from other places in our body. So again, drinking water won't directly hydrate your skin,
Okay.
at least not the way that most people think about it. But not drinking enough water over time will definitely show in your skin.
Okay.
Um, and so that's where the combination of, again, like I said, internal nourishment versus that sort of external, making sure that you apply the right products, um, and do so with regularity. That's where that
Okay.
comes into play. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely does make sense, and it kind of cleared, no pun intended, cleared up kind of some. I guess there's always misconceptions in anything and
Yeah.
everything. But Dwayne here had a really good question when it comes to washing your face. Exfoliating brushes or washcloths? Which one is the better option?
It depends on what you're trying to do. I think for just general everyday washing, so I don't always wash my face with a washcloth. Usually I use my hands because I use several different products, and I'm going to actually use this time to plug one of my products. So if you
Yeah,
guys
it
go to
definitely is.
if you guys go to my website, 64luxury.com, I know you probably can't see it because of the glare from the light, but this is the essential alpha and beta hydroxy daily exfoliating face wash. And so this is the name of this is, I say this every time I do a video, but the name of this is going to change to the refining face wash because I have a little bit more advanced formula that I've been working on that's a little bit more aggressive. But because I use exfoliating face washes that help to sort of chemically exfoliate the skin, I don't really need a washcloth that I use daily. Now, some days, you know, if I use a more gentle wash or something like that, you know, then I'll maybe use my washcloth because I want to get a little physical exfoliation, and I don't necessarily feel like using. Well, this doesn't have a label on it, so y'all can see I make all my own products. I label them. There are no labels on this. But this is the citrus ginger sort of sugar scrub. I think this light, but I'll post all this stuff so you guys can see.
Yeah.
If I don't want to use a harsh scrub, or I don't want to say harsh, but a more aggressive scrub like that, then I will use a washcloth when I wash my face. But generally speaking, I just tend to use my hands. And again, that's because I'm using the right or appropriate products for my skin. To speak about those mechanical face brushes, and in fact, on Facebook Live, I did a video and talked about this last year sometime, and I'll see if I can find it. If not, then I'll do another video about it. I think that those facial brushes, I think that they're okay. I think that they have their uses. I don't think that they're horrible products. But I think that where you get them from matters. Because not all bristles are made the same. It's just like toothbrushes. Not all toothbrushes are going to have the same density, the same amount of bristles, and not all of them are going to have the same level of hardness either. You know, you have soft, medium, and hard toothbrushes. Well, those facial brushes are kind of the same way. None of the brushes are going to say that the bristles are hard, but just through the manufacturing process, some people have really, really soft brushes, and some people have brushes that are a little bit more abrasive. So I would say be very careful when it comes to using those spin brushes because they do oscillate, meaning because they spin. If you tend to overdo it, you can what we call over abrade or sort of over scrub the skin. So be very careful when using those brushes. I think that they were fun to have. They were faddish for a period of time, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, I love this brush," because it's very Instagrammable. You know, it looks good. You can, get online and, hey, you see I'm washing my face, and that's good, and it's cute, and it's fun. But it's not for everyday use. They are exfoliating brushes, and I think that we have to be really careful when it comes to exfoliating the skin because you can over exfoliate. Now, if your brush has one of those little sort of foam sort of tips or whatever that isn't the bristles, that's totally fine. That's like using a washcloth. But I hope that answered the question. In terms of preference, I would say for the average person, I would say get you a soft washcloth or several soft washcloths. Tongue tie. Because you don't want to be using a dirty washcloth on your face, every single day. I say maybe 3 to 4 days, max, and then, toss it in the wash and grab you a new one. Maybe a week. You might as well just go a whole week. Just use it for the week. Make sure you wring it out really well and hang it up so that it can air dry properly. But after a week, you want to toss it in the wash and grab you another towel. If you're into those spin brushes and that's something that you want, I'm the type of person it's rare that I tell people, no, don't do that. You can't use this.
Right.
So with one of those spin brushes, if you're emotionally attached to it, then by all means use it. Just make sure that you're judicious with the usage of it. Okay. Just be mindful. Pay attention to how your skin feels. That's really, no matter what it is you do, paying attention to how your skin feels and how it responds to you is going to be the biggest indicator for whether or not you're doing something right or wrong.
Okay. Now, it just made me think of another question, and this as we close up here. But how should it feel? So if I go to touch, my skin, should it, obviously it shouldn't feel dry per
Mhm.
se, but should it feel like, I'm not using the M word, but should it feel okay. But
I don't know
I
why
mean,
that's a
how,
bad word. That's such a it's a
I
good
just,
word.
yeah,
Okay,
we're not. It's
it's a
just
good word.
so how should it feel?
You want your cakes to be moist.
Uh,
See,
right.
see, you want moist cakes. No pun intended. Well, maybe pun slightly intended. But
Right.
so at no point during the cleansing process should your skin really feel dry.
Right.
Um, so if you're using a wash that really makes your skin feel tight and dry, you're probably dehydrating the skin more than you need to. You're maybe overwashing it. I'm sorry, that's my puppy. I was trying to
No, you're fine. You're
quiet,
fine.
in this whole thing, but here he is though. He's not even supposed to be
Right.
in the room. But yeah, your skin should never really feel dry to the touch. So sometimes when people use certain products and different things like that, um, especially things like black soap, especially things like bar soap, certain things like, and I probably shouldn't say this because I'm not trying to get sued by anybody, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like things like Noxzema, like old school Noxzema,
Okay.
um, those can be really dehydrating for the skin. So, you should never wash your face. I hear a lot of people say, oh, yes, my skin is squeaky clean. It's like, so your skin shouldn't feel like that. Your skin should
Right.
not be squeaky clean because it's not dirty like that. Like people, I think, tend to have this misconception that our skin, especially people of color, like especially darker skin, I want to say people of color, because if you are using a washcloth, um, especially if you're using a white washcloth, sometimes you will see a little bit of, sort of brown residue, but that's just your skin cells. That's not dirt. And I think we need to really like move away
Mm.
from that misconception or that idea that our skin is somehow dirty. It's not dirty. And especially if you have a regular regimen that you stick with, your skin is not going to get dirty like that every single day. So
Okay.
that's important to make note of. But again, the skin shouldn't, you shouldn't touch your skin, and like um it shouldn't feel like onion skin or onion paper or anything like that. The skin should be sufficiently hydrated. It shouldn't be tacky to the touch because
Okay.
it's sticky. I'm sorry, pardon me. Prince,
No,
go
you're
ahead.
fine.
Oh, out, baby, out. I'm so sorry. I hate having to interrupt, but he's demanding my attention right now.
Right.
But the skin shouldn't feel tight. It shouldn't feel tight, nor should
Okay.
it feel tacky. And it shouldn't appear oily either or shiny. There should be a healthy sheen to it. There should be a sort of glow, kind of like I hope that you guys can see in my skin.
Hmm. People
Um,
have said that, yes, we're both glowing, so that's always good.
Thank you. But yeah, it should have a sort of glow. It should sort of glow from within. But it shouldn't be oily. It shouldn't look like you have an oil slick on your face. But by that same measure, it also shouldn't appear dry either. And the same thing, for the touch as well. Okay.
Okay. So as we close up here, let people know. So you're open for business. They can go to your website. Let us know your website, your Instagram, Facebook, all that. We can get in touch with you, either ask you questions or purchase, or definitely purchase some products.
Yes, absolutely. So as I do that, what I'll do, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and
Sure.
actually run through a couple of products that we have.
Go ahead.
So this taller bottle is our chamomile and cucumber daily gentle face wash. This is going to be your sort of surface face wash. This is what's going to help to sort of wick away sort of maybe excess oil on the surface of the skin. It's not going to deep clean you. It's not going to deep cleanse at all. So if you this is really good for if you just need just regular everyday sort of gentle cleansing, or if your skin is particularly sensitive, then this will be really good for you because both the chamomile and the cucumber are really wonderful skin soothing ingredients. The base of it is the very first ingredient listed is aloe vera juice. So instead of making these products with water, which some skincare products are formulated with, the first thing that I use is aloe vera juice. So you're going to get the nourishing benefits from the aloe as well. The second one is, again, it's going to be this alpha and beta hydroxy face wash, the exfoliating one. This is going to be the one that's going to be a little bit deeper cleansing. And this is all available on the website. You guys go ahead and check it out, 64luxury.com. But this is going to be for people who finding their skin is maybe a little bit more oily, or their skin is, even if it's dry and it's kind of flaky and you need some light exfoliation, this alpha and beta hydroxy exfoliating face wash is going to be really good for you. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm out of unfortunately, I'm out of the serum that we have right now. It's the 5 times Royal Hydration. It's called a mist. That's what I had on the first printout of the labels. But I'm changing the name of that though. It's going to be a serum. So unfortunately, I don't have any more right now. You guys can see it on the website and you can read the description about it. But it's not available just yet because I'm still waiting on some more raw material so I can mix up some more. But that'll be available here soon. Hopefully within a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, depending on how soon we get the shipments in. And then also, this is not related to skincare, but it's related to wellness in general.
Yes.
These are our new 6'4". These are our new 6'4" hand sanitizers. I make everything myself.
Awesome.
They follow the CDC and World Health Organization recommendations for ingredient amounts. So these are going to consist of 77% alcohol by volume, and that's listed both on the website and on the bottle. There's aloe vera extract in here. There's kosher vegetable glycerin as well to help keep the skin, help keep the hands hydrated so that the alcohol doesn't dry it out while it's while it's disinfecting or whatever your hands. And then these two come in there are 4 sort of signature scents that 6'4" has. The cedar and white musk, which a lot of you, if you guys have ordered any of the products, then most of you guys have gotten a sample of the cedar and white musk with your order. There's also the rose absolute and amber, which is another favorite of mine. And then these 2 scents, this is the spearmint and eucalyptus, another one of our signature scents, which will be being released in a sort of body spray soon. And then the citrus basil also, which will be being released again pretty soon here as its own sort of standalone scent. But both of these 2 scents are available in the hand sanitizer. And again, like I said, I mix everything up myself. It's important to know that vodka does not work as an appropriate hand sanitizer. And it's important to say that because I know that a lot of people have, hand sanitizer has been in very short supply. And so a lot of people have been trying to find appropriate substitutes. Vodka is not an appropriate substitute. So this is 77% ethanol alcohol by volume. And so it will sufficiently sanitize the hands the way that you need it to. And again, I follow all CDC and World Health Organization recommendations for recommended amounts for efficacy. So that's available on the website as well. And then these other 2 beauties that I want to talk about, because I know we're winding down on time here. But these are the 2 scents that I was just telling you about. So these are the 2 6'4" signature fragrances. This one is the Rose Absolute and Amber. It's a sort of sensual, really rich sort of scent. It's based on rose, but not like an old-fashioned grandma rose, like a lot of people associate with rose. It's a very sensual, sort of seductive, but at the same time, very fresh sort of scent. And then this one is the cedar and white musk. This is one of my favorites. I created
about 45 seconds. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I created But anyway, 64luxury.com. Thank you so much for you guys tuning in. Thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for inviting me. I hope I didn't overtalk,
No, not at all.
If you guys have any questions, you guys can find me. Everything is 6'4". So 6'4 Luxury on Facebook. You guys can find me on Facebook at Ian Edwards. My Instagram is 6'4 IAN is my personal page where I talk about estiology, and then 6'4 Luxury is the product page on Instagram.
Awesome. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Ian.
No, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. I'm going to find out if we can save this video so we can put it up and so people can refer back.
We'll talk after this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Love you.
Thank you
guys. Appreciate the time. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you guys learned something useful. And I look forward to seeing you guys once we open up.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so awesome interview with Ian Edwards out of Washington, D.C., 6'4". Check him out, especially here on Instagram, Facebook, all that. Hit him up for questions and especially the products. I got about 30 seconds left. Don't forget, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Focus TV, we're going to have Robert Womack. He is from Missouri. He's a personal trainer. We're going to be talking a little bit more about fitness and his online training and what he's doing now. So with 20 seconds left, if your state or as your state begins to open up, please just remember to keep yourself and your family and everyone around you safe. Do what you have to do. If you have to stay in the house or you want to stay in the house, stay in the house. If you want to go out, go out. It's all up to you. But be kind to everyone. Love on each other. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys.